Hey guys, so this video is another small engine video, but a little bit different than my normal type video. This is a newer style push mower. Matter of fact, it came off of what appears to be a brand new mower, hyper tough mower, and this motor is blown up. Yeah, you can see the rod and everything back there. So I got a theory on what happened, because I'll put in two pictures right now before I start talking too much. You see this mower looks just about brand new. It's a hyper tough, as I said. Here's a picture looking inside the engine block from the new hole. And here's a view from the bottom of the deck. As far as I can tell, this mower has never cut a single blade of grass. And I got a theory on what happened. I don't think somebody put oil in this when they got it brand new. There's like an oil coating. You can see a little puddle of oil in there, and there was no oil spilled around the motor, because usually when an engine blows up, it's going to sling the oil out. Because this engine still turns over. It won't so much right now because the blade break, but it will turn right over and turn free. So I was originally thinking, well, somebody must have hit something really hard and bent the crankshaft and just locked it up, and the rods came out the side. So it's either there was no oil in it, or there's a factory defect. I mean, you know, things happen. Obviously, engines are tested at the factory, and this might have just been a residual amount of oil from the initial test run at the factory. Or maybe somebody didn't put enough oil in, or not the right type. Who knows? But we're going to tear this down and try to figure out exactly what happened. I kind of judge it by the cylinder. If the cylinder's all scored up, then I would say the rod bolts probably weren't tightened at the factory, or something like that. So, as far as I can tell, the camshaft survived. The engine's completely useless now, except for parts, because this part broke. If the piston don't come all the way down in here, you might be able to salvage it by putting a plate on it, but probably not worth fooling with. I'm hoping this crankshaft ain't damaged too much, and I might be able to use it on another engine that's got a bent crankshaft. So hopefully, if that'll play out, we can make a separate video on that. But if not, then there won't be another follow-up video. And this is not going to be running or nothing in the video, so please don't be expecting that. This is just kind of what I found. This mower was given to me, and we use the deck when I put another engine on it. And but I just thought this might make a little interesting video, so let's get started on the teardown. I think what we'll do, just kind of remove all the external parts and just get it down to the bare block before we actually take it apart. That way we can pull the head off and inspect everything. So, not a complete waste. Somebody else will be using the deck. That's perfectly good, and hopefully we can get some good parts. So, alright, enough of an intro. Alright, so I pretty much got all the external parts off except for the head and a couple other small pieces. I took off this engine will not sit anywhere you put it. I took off this piece here that covers up, that goes on here, and everything else bolts to it, like your recoil assembly, the coil bolts here. But it was stuck, and I pulled it out. I didn't know they did it like this. So you take this off. This is where the reed valve is. It's like a check valve for the crankcase ventilation, like a PCV valve, pretty much what this whole thing serves. And this goes over to the air breather. I thought that was pretty neat how they did that. Just a reed valve, so I'll be saving that too, but I thought you might like to see that first. The governor arm connects here, runs over here. So pretty much got already, like you see, pulling the flywheel off too. And the flywheel key did not share, if anybody was curious. I probably would have tried to save this block if it didn't have this chunk taken out right here. I'm pretty sure that's going to interfere with the piston, and it'll probably just cause problems even if I try to fix it. The way this is shaped, it'd be very hard to fix anyway. If it was an old flathead, I would definitely be fixing it, but these are a dime a dozen now. It's what's been made for quite a while. So I'm going to go ahead and pull the head off. I'm going to try to leave the valve cover on because I need to take it off. I think it's only 4 bolts that hold these on. Looks like it. So let me get this head off, then we'll look at the cylinder and piston and everything else. I'll go take the head and the sump off. So it's wanting to come apart all weird. Everything's stuck in here, and we'll get what probably the only oil is ever in this engine coming out of it. So let me get this the rest of the way apart, and we'll just look at all the individual parts. Like, it's weird, you never know what to expect when engines blow up. It used to be just about every engine like this, so the rod would always end up hitting the camshaft and shattering it, but it appears to be just fine. The crankshaft appears to be fine, except for some minor scoring, which is not very bad at all. I can clean that right up. I'm hoping this is the same crankshaft that goes in another engine I got. This sump appears to be good. Nothing's cracked or broke, and it just needs cleaned up real good. Let's see what the oil slinger looks like. Usually these end up breaking too, but this one appears to be alright. This has a mechanical governor. This is the arm that comes in contact with the governor piece. Here's the tappets. They're obviously pretty good, just need to be cleaned up. I don't know why these blocks just are made not to stand up. There's one of the rod bolts right there. This might have been a partial defect from the factory. It's hard to say for sure, but what's left of the rod, we'll get the piston out here in a second, but this bolt here is loose in the rod. Of course, obviously it's all bent and mangled and everything. So this may have been a default from the factory, because here's the other rod bolt here. It's loose and not bent. And I've seen it happen before. It used to be the older engines had a locking tab that you bend over, and it pretty much prevented that from ever happening. But hey, it might have been a Friday afternoon or something. Maybe somebody forgot to torque it down or something. So let's pop the piston out and see what the cylinder and everything looks like. Take it the other way. There we go. So the piston's really not scored. The rod's chewed up. The piston actually looks alright. I'll have to clean it up and inspect it for any cracks or anything. I don't think it's hurt any. It's a pretty impressive hole there. So maybe it did have oil in it. That's right there, been enough oil to keep it running for quite a bit, honestly. Just there's a little bit in there. Let's see what the cylinder looks like. Yeah, the cylinder's just lightly scored. I've seen way worse on even new engines before. So I'm thinking it's a factory default. It happens. The rod bolt probably just got loose in there and eventually just worked its way loose and the rod let go. Other than that, the block would be usable if you could patch that hole, except for where it comes down past the piston right there, so you can't really use it. It'd be kind of hard to fix it without getting it bored out and everything. You're probably not going to be able to get oversized parts for these. It's a small piston. So, also want to note that you can see this engine has pretty much no runtime at all. The spark plug still looks new. That's a 12YC champion plug, like they use in the big overhead valve riding motor engines too. So we got a pile of very usable parts for another engine like this. We'll strip that down and scrap that for scrap aluminum. Get that cleaned up. It's not very much weight at all, but hey, if you got some other stuff to throw in, it's a good little chunk of metal. So, alright guys, thanks for watching. I thought this might make an interesting, quick little video. So, questions or comments, or let me know what your theory is on this. It's got to be one of them two things: either ran low on oil enough to lock that rod up, or then bolts work loose. But this tells me the bolt worked loose, since this bolt right here looks untouched, not bent or scarred up or nothing. And this one was loose in this. Well, you can see why it would be loose, because that outer part broke. I didn't see that a while ago. So I don't know. Let me know what you all think. So, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you on the next video.